Welcome, 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 welcome back to AG University Podcast, you guys. I am so excited to be back on the mic, back recording, talking to you guys in my new home. So many updates. It is I, your professor at Anna Grace Newell, speaking. Welcome to AG University Podcast, a school from the cosmos, a school of intuition, here to connect you with your truest, brightest, boldest, most authentic version of self. If you are new around here, I always highly recommend checking out episode number 1. It is my story, crazy near-death experience, how I got catapulted into this career, unbeknownst to me, a surprise to us all. How about that? So I took the last 5.5-ish, 6 weeks off, which in true school nature, you always have school's out for summer, a summer break moment. So I'm your professor. I've been away. I've been studying. And I know we joke about this university style theme, but I actually really do take my education around this podcast incredibly serious. I have been doing a crash course mentorship for my personal business to grow and expand because I needed a stronger foundation for the amount of energy that was coming at me so quickly, which I was super grateful for. But I was like, I want to have a really, really strong foundation in my life, personal life, schedule, balance, business, all of the things. So I'm going to have my mentor. She's going to come on and talk. I've kind of teased it a little bit on my stories, but it's been a really cool experience because I've never really worked with anyone else on helping me expand. And I am in such a time of expansion. So, as every stage of my life, I'm going to share everything with you guys because there will be a time where you are changing careers or expanding in some way, shape, or form, whether that is your family, whether that is, having children, bringing in a partner. We're here to expand and to grow. And I always love to share my personal growth with you guys. So I'm not sure. I haven't decided if I am going to be continually recording in this space. You guys can catch me out on YouTube and see where I'm at. I have this really cool, it's called a Florida room. It's like a sunroom. It's the plant room, which really makes sense. That's where I would land. Austin initially said when we moved into this new house. So just to catch you guys up, I've moved twice this summer, which is so cuckoo bananas. I don't even know, but it's essentially our old house. The lease was up May 31st. The house that I manifested, my dream home, was not going to be ready until August 1st. So we lived in Airbnb for 2 months, which was the Golden Girls era. It was like the most mama looking Airbnb ever, but we freaking loved it. Like the vibe was just like safe and cozy, retirement community vibes. But we really liked it, even though it wasn't totally an aesthetic. That's okay. I was like, I'm not spending $10,000 a month on like a cute Airbnb just so it's cute. Like, nah, girl. So, and by the way, like where we stayed was a super nice area and it wasn't even really that cheap, but it was the Golden Girls. So I was Anagram. That was my era. Then August 1st, we moved in to our newest place, which is where we're at right now. And I am just so over the moon. I can't even express to you guys. And I want to share this too, because I love a manifestation story. And I love when you guys share manifestation stories. And this is why it's so important when you have a manifestation come through to share it with other people, share it with the AGU community, because it makes it becomes expansive in your reality that this is possible for you. Like if it's happening for me, if it's happening for any of you guys, then it's possible for every single one of us here to manifest. So Austin and I think I've told you guys on our podcast before, our rent, we moved here abruptly. Our rent was, it was $5,000 a month, which is, to me, that's like New York, LA prices. We live in Florida and a nice neighborhood, but we didn't live on the beach. We lived in like a very normal suburban neighborhood. It was nice, but I just thought that was obscene. If I'm going to be paying that kind of money, I want to spend that on a mortgage. I don't know. I'm probably not supposed to be like talking this amount of numbers, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to tell you guys everything. So Austin and I were like, we really want to save to buy a house. We want to find a house. We thought we were going to buy one. It's a terrible time to buy. The market, interest rates, da 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 da. You guys have heard all the things. And we just really couldn't find anything that we wanted to buy. Well, my really good friend, who is also my acupuncturist, came to me and was like, you know what? The house next door to my house is available for rent. And I was like, wait, that'd be so fun. I am here for living in a community with your friends era. I am here for a compound era. Like you guys if you follow Shannon, you know Shannon, her and Taylor live next door to each other. And this past weekend, I was at their house and we were all just hanging out and they're next door neighbors. And I was like, this is so cute. You guys, we all just need to live in a compound and pick like 10, 15 friends and just move into a neighborhood together. That is the energy I'm claiming for my future. And that's just it. Especially when you have kids, like it really does take a village. You need your friends and family around you to support you. I always see all these TikToks too, how people say it's a very American thing that we're very kind of isolated. In a lot of cultures, they really are in this like village mentality. So, anyways, I'm bringing it back. Let's all move into a compound together. If I start a compound, I'll let you guys know. You can sign up, I don't know, for a lot or something. Anyways, so Taylor, my acupuncturist friend, she's like, the house next door to me is available for rent. And I was like, hell yes. So she's like, come out and take a look, see what you think. I drove out. First of all, the drive out, it's like 15 minutes outside of the city, which I was totally fine with. I was like, I don't need to be, I want to be where it's as quiet as possible and just like nature and peaceful. That was my vibe. And I was really needing some peace. And so I drive out. It's like the nicest drive. I'm like, okay, I love this so much. It's so peaceful. Get here, walk up. There's like a third that's 3 stories, but it's not like a super huge house, but it's just like a kind of a tall home, 3 stories. And on the top floor, there is this beautiful little widow's nest, or they call them crow's nest. I don't know. I always botch that little whatever it is, crow's nest, widow's nest, something on top of the home where you can see literally a 360 view of the intercoastal and the beach. I have a full blown beach front view. It is insane. I cannot believe it. And here's the kicker. It was literally half of our rent that we were paying. So, and that is just crazy to have a beachfront view in Florida because it's just really coveted land. But when I tell you, I manifested this and I know it, a better home, an upgrade, more space, because we all work from home, Austin and I both. And obviously Zane's been home for the summer too. So it was really nice just to have, a little extra move into some space that way to actually have a guest room for friends to come visit and a playroom for like Zane and his friends and more space, beautiful view, half the rent. So I'm just telling you guys that whatever that you want to manifest when it comes to a living space, I promise you there is an option available. This was someone's vacation home, so it came fully furnished. There's a lot of vacation homes in Florida, but anyways, I just want to put that little bug in your ear. If you're not loving your environment or your home, there's always something better, and it doesn't have to be more expensive or more difficult. There is an easier option available to you. Just get a little creative with how it looks. Like you could literally do a freaking house swap with someone in another city for 2 months. I had some friends that did that recently, and I thought that was such a fun idea. So I love to share things that are just going on in my life because I want it to be an expansive situation for your life and your current situation. That I have this beautiful home that is less expensive, and yeah, it's just like incredible. I wake up every day and I feel like I'm living on a resort. I'm in just a freaking, I don't know. She's too stunned to speak, but it does. I feel like I'm constantly on vacation, and that's really how I want my life to be. I want to feel like I'm on vacation, and so should you. So we deserve that. Okay. 2024 is just around the corner, and that's going to be our word is that our life is vacation. Okay. So all that being said, I am recording in the sunroom, which is the plant room, which I love because there's so much light, and my little human design profile always says that I thrive best in light. I'm like a little plant. I'm a little sunflower. I love the sun. So I'm in this beautiful sunroom right now with all the plants and my candles and my crystals and my incense, and I'm just thriving because it's really private from the rest of the house. However, it is a little bit rainy, so you could hear some rain. There's some June bugs sounding. I don't know if they're June bugs because it's August. Some cicadas. I don't know. There's some loud bugs. There's just not as much insulation out here. So I'm toying with this. So if you're listening to this episode being like, I feel like I'm in the middle of the jungle, it's because you are. Essentially, our backyard is very lush. There's a lot of wildlife and rain and some cars. You know what? So just bear with me. I'm still getting my feet wet on this location and where's the best place to record. I've been saying this forever. I'm like, at some point I will have a recording studio or somewhere to go. But it is really nice just being in my home. It feels very cozy. And since I do a lot of energy work, I do like to know I'm in like a safe place, a cozy place, and somewhere kind of alone. So I don't know. We'll just see how it all shakes out. But for right now, I have moved. I have turned 30 since you guys listened to me last, which was the best experience ever turning 30. I literally, oh, it feels so good. It feels very grounded. My 20s felt very chaotic. And if you're in your 20s right now and you're listening and you're like, shit feels chaotic, it's okay. I think that's just part of being 20 and you're exactly where you're meant to be. Like, it's totally fine. You're going to figure it out. You're going to land on your feet. You're going to hit your grounded era. I do feel like I'm in my grounded era. 20s were really, really, really all over the place, really wild. Obviously, that was my near death experience era and just all every phase you could possibly go through, from being a DJ to being a festival queen to having hot pink hair to near death experience to psychic medium queen. I really ran the gamut on, wow, a lot. But it was chaotic. And here's the thing, I feel like 20s are just, they're so difficult. They really are. You're just trying to figure things out. You're trying to become an adult. I just really feel like we just get dumped out of college with not knowing actually like real life information. You just kind of go to school and learn things and you're just like, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, you're paying taxes. It's jarring. It's really jarring. So if you're in your 20s and you're listening right now, I got you. It was chaotic, but I came out 30. I really, really feel like I'm grounded. I am thriving, 30, flirty, thriving. And I am going to share all the information with you guys because, of course, I had to do a 30th birthday AG Akashic Records reading, which you guys know the Akashic Records. If you are also new, Akashic Records, I feel I'll probably be explaining it forever and ever and ever. Amen. But the Akashic Records is angel readings. It is an angel consciousness energy that I work with, and is a basically like a soul's library. It's this like database of information that we all have access to. Yes, you have access to it too. Spoiler alert, I am going to be teaching how to read the Akashic Records. That's coming this course curriculum. You guys are going to learn. I'm so freaking stoked, but it is essentially our soul's purpose, our soul's mission, and all of our soul's data. So it's kind of like how some people talk about doing like past life regressions, where there's like a little bit of soul information, except it's more focused on our current. I like to stay in the present, a little bit in the future. I like to know some things that are going on in the future. I like to tell them to you guys. But ultimately, soul's purpose is my specialty. So that is the work that I do. And I've been doing tons of readings and all kinds of stuff since 2020. Went from doing celebrity styling to celebrity reading. It was a really crazy transition, but somehow in my brain, I'm like, yeah, well, that just makes sense to me. That just checks out on it being the trajectory. I do readings for my AGU followers if you subscribe to my newsletter, and newsletter only. That's the only place that you can book with me. Anyways, so I did a reading for myself, and I want to tell you my next era, the era that I'm in right now, that I'm absolutely thriving. And I want everybody here to know about it because I do think it is going to positively impact your life. And also, I am going to do a unicorn card reading towards the end of the podcast. So stay with me till the end. All right. My personal reading, and as I say, Akashic Records is always universal teaching, universal knowledge. One path, one love. We're all in this together. So, the word. So, I always like to connect with a theme in the Akashic Records, a theme for anyone that I'm doing a reading with, theme for what's going on in their life, theme for my current life. And it always comes up very big and bold. And I like catch myself just writing it and circling it a bunch because I do a lot of kind of scripted writing while I'm doing this work. And the biggest word that I was shown was consistency. And I was like, "Ooh, okay, she's in her consistency era. I like that." And I'm going to really break it down for you guys exactly how this works in my life and how this has shown up, and really kind of the breakdown for how I've applied this to my life and really made a lot of transformation in the past, I don't know, 6 weeks. I've only been, actually, no, it's really only been 5 weeks. Yeah. So a lot of change in a short amount of time. And that's what I'm here to deliver to you guys. I want a lot of change for you in a short amount of time. So I saw consistency and I was like, okay, I like this. I think there is a time and a place when you're in your 20s or in a startup phase where you're going to be in a trial and error. Trial and error is amazing. I want you guys to try all the things and see what's a win, what's a flop. Trial and error is amazing. However, there is some level of consistency that I really do think you need to always have in your business, in your brand, in your personal life, in your relationship. This applies to all things because consistency is so important. And I've always felt that way. When I first started my Instagram back in 2015, I did not miss a blog post. I wrote one every single when I first started out, I think I was doing them like 2 or 3 times a week. There was times I was doing them every single day, blogging, blogging, blogging. I always posted on Instagram. Like from day one, when I had, I don't know, 1,400 followers, it was my job. I was like, I am a full-time influencer and you cannot convince me otherwise. And let me tell you what, people thought I was cuckoo bananas because influencing wasn't even a thing. I didn't even know what the ideal outcome was, I guess, or what the result was, but I committed. I committed so hard. I mean, I really did. And I really do attribute majority of my success to consistency because I was a very random girl from Memphis, Tennessee. I did not have like a cool scenic background. I did not have any money. I was shooting things from the thrift store. If you guys remember following me then, I was a big thrift girly, just a big vintage store, Forever 21. Like my parents were not about to give me money to take photos of my clothing in. They're like, you can live at home for free and that's all the support that you're getting. But it was cool because I was scrappy. But here's the thing, even with $0 budget and zero resources, I really do think the success was in the consistency piece that I showed up every single day and I found things to talk about. You can get so creative for free, for real. So, anyways, the consistency piece, I feel as I have grown all of my businesses, obviously, you guys know I was doing fashion full time and then had that crazy near death experience and slowly started to pivot from that experience onward. And I really, really felt called to helping people. That was what I wanted to do. And I wasn't really sure if fashion was the outlet for me anymore, only being fashion. I'm like, there's so much more. I really want to share all this information on intuition and Akashic Records, all this stuff, because it's changed my life tremendously, infinity and beyond. But how do I start to introduce this to my audience? Because for so long, I've been so consistent showing up as a fashion girly. And, y'all know I had my party girl era. I had a lot of eras, but I still showed up. But that had really been kind of just embedded in my branding and who I was. So the consistency piece, let's see, a few months ago, I started getting a download that I needed to create an AG University page. Like AG University really needed to become my big brand. I was going to be Anna Grace Newell, and whatever you catch on Anna Grace Newell is just like my life, whatever, all aspects of my life. But AG University, I really wanted to treat it truly like a university. Like I want to have like professors and employees and staff just as a university does. I will always be the face of it, but I wanted it to be more of a business. And that was the information that I started getting in my Akashic Records was like, but I'd always been so anti, like, I don't want to ever create a new account and start over from zero. Like, oh, I've worked so hard, blah, blah, blah. But I trusted the guidance. I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. But I knew it was fundamental in growing AG University to really go full tilt boogie on all things energy and all the things that I truly love to talk about the most: soul's purpose, angels, how to communicate with your intuition, how to ask for signs from the universe, things that just really light me up. And it didn't really make sense to do that on my personal page. So that's why I started an additional page. So if you're someone that wants to start a business, I really don't think it's too late to ever start over at zero. If you're super passionate and specific about what you're going to talk about, the people are going to come. They just are. I just will never, ever, ever, ever believe that, oh, the algorithms have changed and you can't blow up on TikTok like you used to and Instagram. I'm like, no, you just can. You can monetize a page at 2,000 followers. You just can. I will root for you till the day I die. And I really firmly believe that. So the consistency piece that I was seeing was, before I was having two accounts and I was trying to be Anna Grace Newell and kind of share the Akashic Records, but kind of share fashion and kind of do all these things. And it started to become too many things. So when I sat down and said, it's my 30th birthday, I'm doing my Akashic Records, let's talk. What do I need to do? The first thing that I was shown immediately was consistency on creating strictly just for AG University, which I was like, okay, yes, love. So I started creating a content calendar just for that page. Now, even though I had started in the beginning being super, super consistent, I think I had a moment where I was trying to do too many things, too many Anna Grace Newell things, too many readings, too many things, too many AGU kind of touch and go. And so that's where I was really getting called back to this consistency piece. They're like, you've really got to be consistent and looking at your schedule, clearing off the things that aren't really moving the needle right now, and recalibrating and refocusing your energy as to, what it is that you really want to build, which AGU and this work is what I am it's really my purpose. It's what I'm here to do. So I was like, okay, cool. So I want you guys to take a moment, start thinking in your brain, start swirling around. Okay, if I've been feeling like there's a lot going on, there's a lot on my plate, this is what I was shown. What are the three things that I can shift all of my energy into going forward? Okay, so that's the question for you. So for me, I'll just share mine just to give you an example through my life, but I want you to start to play because I really do think a strong foundation in your life, in your business, or in your relationship really does have a consistency piece in some way, shape, or form. Like for me, that is always having a morning routine, in my daily life, always doing some form of movement, right? So there's these things that our consistency is really needed. But when it comes to our business, our life, whatever era we're in, I always want you to go back to picking three things and focusing on making those three things your highlighted consistency piece. So for me, when I went to my Akashic Records, I was like, okay, what do I need to be focusing on right now? I have so many things, which I'm grateful for, and it's fun and it's exciting, and there's a lot going on. But what are the three things that I actually want to allocate the most energy to? Because at the end of the day, you want to be like, what are the things that are moving the needle of my life? Really getting me to be this person that I am. And so the three things that I got were movement and focusing on me. Two was digital courses for you guys. And then three was TikTok and Reels short form content that was this same AGU type of content, talking about energy work, Akashic Records, all the things. Because I had been so touch and go, I've shared this with you guys. Like I've had some videos blow up huge on TikTok, and then people are just so trolly and weird that I'm kind of touch and go, touch and go. And my guides, I told you guys this in my last podcast, be loud and proud. We are in our loud and proud era. I do not care if people talk shit to me anymore on Reels or TikTok, whatever, fuck them, let's go. Like I know in my heart of hearts what my intention is, and that I know that I am here to help people. And if that person doesn't want to hear that message, then they can skiddly dat dat. You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to hear that message too, because there is so much importance in this consistency piece. So those were my three things. So when I stepped away from the podcast or my 5.5, 6-ish week break, I really took almost everything off my calendar, off my schedule. I took a lot of readings off. I took ample amount of time. I was like, it's my 30th. And I really wanted to use it to focus on how I can get more consistent with the big things that are moving the needle. And most importantly, this was my takeaway. So every single day, I decided no matter what, I was like, Anna Grace, and this message is for someone too. You are always going to be busy. You are always going to have a million things to do. Okay. There is never going to be an ideal time to just like sit back and, like schedule all this time to take care of me and blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. You have to take care of yourself today. It has to be a priority. It has to be a priority today, or else it never will. There will just never be this ample amount of time that we all like think is going to be there someday, because we're always just going to have a lot going on, and friends and family and highs and lows, and like that's just life. So that was my moment of kind of awakening in this time away, of just like really, it wasn't so much just the podcast, it was like everything. I just really took off, and I haven't done that in a long, long time, but I felt it so deeply in my soul that I was like, I just need to take a little bit of a break just from everything so I can recalibrate. So one, if you are feeling like, hey, I need to take a little bit of a break, I need to get a babysitter and schedule a little bit of me time, I need to do those things, honor them, because you are so, so, so worthy of taking a little bit of time off and a little bit of time for you to recalibrate. And this is something, I wrote this down. I did a little mini, like, what does AGU podcast need to hear before I get on the mic in the Akashic Records? And I wrote this down. And I want you to really swirl this around your ear holes and think about it. Radical transformation happens through the lens of observation. So you guys know I love to say, like, get observational, like look at your schedule, look at yourself. The last episode, I talked all about making space. Highly recommend going back and checking out that podcast. But once you make space, I want you to then take it this step and say, okay, even if you take a day off, like you don't have to take 6 weeks off like me. I know there's people that like, I don't have that luxury, and I totally get it. I'm super grateful that I was able to take that time off. But I do believe that everyone can make a little bit of space for them. And I think that if we aren't making space for us, we're avoidant of what it is that we need. We're avoidant of wanting to sit still with ourselves, to listen to our thoughts, to take care of ourselves. There's something we'd rather take care of everyone else and take care of ourselves. There's something to that. And that's where we want to get super observational. When you are making the biggest transformation and changes of your life, you actually don't have to do anything that crazy. It is easy. You can change your life and it can be easy, okay? I promise you. Like I said, you're always going to be busy. I'm busy, but I have made radical transformation to my life and it hasn't taken tons and tons of time and meditating and all these things that I feel like sometimes social media tricks us into thinking that we need all of this like time and space and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, no, no. We really can do this. So that's why I always love to say, like, get super observational. And by that, I mean, looking at your life, looking at all of the things that are going on and asking yourself, what is it that I really want to direct my energy into? What do I actually want to be consistent with? If I had to pick three things right now that I know are going to move the needle for transformation, for massive transformation, you can only pick three. Don't do five. Three is the magic number here. And look through the lens of observation, meaning you're not going to shame yourself for not prioritizing your movement or prioritizing self care. You're not going to be hard on yourself for working too hard or for saying yes to too many things, right? We are in our no era. I'm in a lot of eras right now, but saying no is the fastest way to get into alignment with the universe, because it is letting the universe know that, hey, I value myself, I am worthy, I value my time and my energy, and that is what makes you more magnetic for manifestations. You know what I mean? So we love to say no. Anyways, being observational in the sense that you can look at your life objectively and not criticize and just look at it through the lens of the observer as a scientist and say, these are some things going on right now. And this is where I've been going wrong. And I'm going to tell you guys, this was where I was going so wrong. I truly, well, one, and this is the consistency era piece too, that I was always waking up, doing my morning routine, and then I would immediately dive into emails, DMs, jumping into readings because they started a reading started at 11 for me. Then going into podcasts, then doing all these things. And I, in my heart of heart, I love that about me, that I love to help people and I love to connect with people. But on some level, there was never a time. And then, the rest of my evening would be, doing whatever Austin, cooking dinner, and Austin and Zane had things going on, activities. So there was just not a lot of really focusing consistently on what I was needing. And so that's where the movement piece came in that I told you guys was my number one pick, movement. I have decided that in the past, there's been so many times where I've really overcomplicated my relationship with movement. I would always be like, I'm going to get a 3 to 5 day workout split. And I follow this girl on TikTok. I'm going to download this program and like do all these things. And I know we've really talked about this a ton on how fun it is to just like move your body because it feels good and because you want to celebrate your body. And most importantly, because the mental clarity that working out has brought me, that's the other thing. You guys know that I've been coffee free. I feel like a heroin addict being like, I quit drinking coffee. It really was that much of a victory, that much of a feat. Like, I would tell Austin, I'm like, I'm 6 weeks clean of coffee. I found out I was allergic to coffee beans. It was a forced detox. But going through that in this time of where I had a little bit more time for me because I had scheduled some things kind of offloaded, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym and just try to get endorphins. That was my goal. That was my focus. I'm going to go to the gym and try to get endorphins because I was realized that caffeine it's kind of like a little quick buzz that you get. It's like a little, I mean, it probably is like a little bit of a drug. I hate to say that to you guys. I haven't been 100% caffeine free, but I'll say I've been like 95%. Every once in a while, if we were traveling or like doing something fun and I want to be a part of something, I'll have a matcha, but that's it. And that's like one a week. Just because I don't like to say like 100% no feels just like a little rigid. So I'm just trying to kind of be a little loosey goosey. But anyways, that was my goal. You guys, I said, I want to just move for the mental clarity so that I don't feel so like foggy and groggy when I wake up in the morning. I want to get on the treadmill. And so I decided my consistency piece, I'm going to throw all of the like trying to do a weight training split and a Pilates. Like I was trying to do too many things. It's really a theme of this podcast. I was trying to do too many things. And I feel like maybe you guys listening might be trying to do a little too many things right now. And that's okay. Maybe that's why this message is coming through and then I'm sharing it. That's okay because we're all going to recalibrate together the AG University way. So the consistency realization that I had was I really don't think it matters at all what you do when it comes to working out, as long as you feel good doing it and you show up consistently every day. And so I decided I was going to do 12, 3:30 every single day. And that was going to be my baseline consistency piece. And then from there, if I wanted to do a little Pilates movement or a Sculpt Society dance class, or if I wanted to do some weight training, I would add it on top of that. But I knew that the foundation, right? I'm in my foundation building phase. My foundation was going to be like every single day I do 12, 30 on the treadmill. I would walk outside, but it's just so dang hot right now. So I actually prefer outside. But for the sake of this, I was like, it's hot. That's not an excuse. Every single day, get up and get moving. Because where before I would like chug coffee and just start creating and doing all the things for the day, I'm like, no, no, no. I'm going to get my head right, get some endorphins, start feeling good, and start moving and get that clarity naturally. That truly, I feel like I've made the most progress on movement and just like actually to a point where I'm like, I crave it. I look forward going to the gym. Like I've always really loved moving, but this is different. This is like every single morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get to the gym because I've completely reframed my perspective of I am moving for me. I am moving to show myself that I love you so much, Anna Grace. I'm going to make you a priority. I'm not going to answer anybody else until you are moving and grooving and you feel good and you feel clear. And that was huge. And I really do feel like taking caffeine away from me was a part of that. And listen, if you're like sometimes you feel a little too jittery or a little like, I highly recommend just taking like the teeniest tiniest little break away from caffeine, because it really is crazy how many feel good hormones you start to produce on your own when you're taking that kind of like synthetic little buzzy happy away. I didn't think I could do it. I'm not kidding you guys. I didn't think I would ever be able to quit drinking caffeine. I'm not, I am dead serious. I was like, I quit drinking alcohol. You're not going to take my coffee away from me. I'm so sorry. No. And the universe said, bitch, you're now highly allergic to coffee beans. And I was like, I am convinced that was orchestrated somehow by someone watching over me. But anywho, the consistency piece, especially for movement, I'm telling you guys, just pick one thing that you like to do: jump rope, skipping, hopscotch, I don't care, twerking in your room, and say, at this time, schedule it in. I will do this for 20 minutes and I will make it fun. And other things that I do, like I say affirmations to myself, like I do all kinds of things. I used to watch TikTok on the treadmill, which makes it go by fast, but I've actually been trying to add in a lot more intention. So I'll put on super hype music. I'll watch music videos because they get me like really in this like manifestation portal where I'm just like pretending like I'm in a music video and like feeling like my energy is so magnetic and like everyone's just like watching me and like I don't know, it sounds weird, but I promise it really gets you so hype. And I say this too because the reason that movement also has become so important, not only for the endorphins and the mental clarity, and I just crave it now that I am not drinking caffeine and not doing all these kind of like little cheapy dopamine hacks, like staying off social media even more. Movement, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look forward to it. It gets me like so like happy and kind of like giddy, which I've really never experienced that. And that's why I'm like, you guys, that is so readily available to you for free. And the biggest takeaway that I want you to embody is that manifestation loves movement. When you are moving, and this is, I'm telling you, it's different than just like working out to look a certain way. It's not. I have completely like I have zero goals of like, oh, I just kind of like want to tone up like my butt or something. But no, no, no. I am literally just like, I want to be strong and I want to feel clear and I want to feel happy and I just want to feel good. Boom. That is it. So I will move in whatever way, shape, or form that looks for me to feel good. And I wish that for you guys too, because it is really life altering in that capacity of how I've been showing up. But anyways, manifestation loves movement. So think about it. When you are moving or dancing, doing all these things, you're moving, grooving, and shaking, you are raising your vibration. And when we are raising our vibration and we get into this state, like when I'm listening to, fun, happy music, sometimes it's trap music, I don't know, hip hop, whatever. I always imagine myself like doing the things that I want to do, like dancing on stage, speaking to crowds, doing these live events. And I just really get lost in this kind of visualization while I'm power walking, like movement, just listening to music. Guys know I love Superhuman walking meditation apps. They're really good too if you would rather keep it like more like super spiritual or just like high vibe music. It's also just like a really good walking activation. I always have a code with them. This is not sponsored. I just love the app. You can go to any of my highlights on both of my accounts, AG University or Anna Grace Newell. AG10 gets you 6 weeks free on the app. Anyways, listening to that music and getting into this like really daydreamy state. I want you guys to embody daydreaming. Daydreaming is so underrated. Why did we stop doing it? When I was a kid, I loved to daydream. Oh my gosh, I was just always daydreaming. But that's where I've gotten like I've been doing these super powerful walks where I'm just like so hype and I'm like pretending like I'm on stage and I'm doing my live events with you guys and I'm just like, oh, it feels so good. By the time I leave the workout, I'm literally like, I'm ready to take on the world. Like truly. So I just wanted to let you guys know that was like one of my big takeaways on the consistency piece was like pick one thing, schedule it in, do it for 20 minutes every single day, no matter what. Even when I'm traveling, I've been like, I am going to stick with this because I can walk anywhere. Like you can do that anywhere. And then add on the fancy stuff. If you want to do your core work, your pelvic floor, your Pilates, all that stuff, like I'm totally doing that too. But the consistency for me was that I was like, I need to know I can pick one thing, do it every single day for 20 to 30 minutes. I've been doing 30, but 20 is great too. Anything is better than nothing. And that has transformed my everything in a way that I'm like, wow, I did not realize how much I needed this. And that's why I'm like, it's so good for you to take a little break, a little micro break sometime, step away and be like, how are my morning routines looking? How is my schedule right now? Is it actually serving me? Or am I just caught in the rat race of all the things that I think that I should be doing? For me, it's like always replying and always being on and always trying to catch everything and always doing all these things. And I'm like, y'all, I promise you, if you look at your schedule and get observation, remember that radical transformation happens through the lens of observation. Look at your schedule and be like, do I really actually need to be doing all of these things that I'm doing right now? Or could I just pick my 3 things and get super consistent and get hella locked in there? So that was like my takeaway for movement. I hope I was able to give you guys a couple of ideas or maybe some insight or inspiration when it comes to movement. And then, of course, courses. That was just, I am going to be doing how to read the Akashic Records. And I'm so excited. I don't know, I could just fly away thinking about it because learning how to read the Akashic Records has changed my life in so many ways. It just really offers such a beautiful perspective. And the fact that I have been kind of like selected in a way, and not everyone can teach this information. And so I feel super grateful that that's a big part of my life's work and my purpose is to teach you guys and really break it down in a way that feels super good and super easy and everyone can read. That's one thing. Everyone's like, can everyone access this information? Yes. I've actually already taught a few close friends just to kind of try it out and see how it goes. And it shows up differently for everyone. It works a little differently for everyone. I'll get into that further, but I just wanted to tease that because I just can't wait. That all that information is also in my newsletter. Just join there if you're interested there. Okay, TikTok Reels, short form content, obviously showing up there, being loud and proud. That's our theme that we've been staying in. But I just think that the more that you can get a little bit laser focused on 3 things. I took this away. I started doing this a while ago. Like my planner sheet that I use every single day has a what are your top 3 priorities of the day? And I've been doing that for years. Like my daily top 3 priorities. What are they every single day? There's just really a lot of science and psychology in between picking 3 things that move the needle because you don't want to schedule in like, okay, I need to do my laundry and I need to do this and I need to do all the things. Yes, those things are great, but are they moving the needle? That's where you really have got to look at your daily schedule, however it works for you. I highly recommend doing like a light time blocking if you can. That's what I do. It works. But for years, I was always doing like picking 3 things that I had to get done that day. If they didn't get done, I was going to have to just persevere and keep working through the day. Like those 3 things have to get done. And then underneath that, I have like my other to-dos. And over time, I started being able to kind of realize like, okay, some of these things I can allocate off, vice versa, but I was always doing a daily 3. Well, now I'm doing kind of like an overarching life 3. Like these are my 3 things for the year. Maybe you could pick like, what are my 3 things for the next 3 months? You could break it down a little bit, but those are my 3: movement, creating courses for you guys, and short form content, showing up loud and proud. So I always like to say it on here too, just to hold myself a little bit accountable, but also I like giving you guys super specific examples. So as we enter into this fall semester, I want you guys, that's going to be your first AGU homework, to sit with yourself and say, okay, we've already listened to our making space. That's our previous episode. In what ways could I make space? And now going forward, what are 3 things that I can be consistent with at this phase of my life? And they can be super easy, they can be super small, that doesn't have to be hard. But I'm telling you, the consistency theme is huge right now. It's bigger than just me and my birthday. It's truly like the energy of the collective. Like we collectively are all going through a lot of change, a lot of transition, just with what's going on in the world. And the stronger of a foundation that we can build for ourselves. And that to me is consistency. That's that key word. The stronger and more rooted we are in ourself, in our knowing, and the less likely we are to be bothered by other people. And that is always my goal for you guys. I want you to be unbothered queens. I know I've said that on here before, but that's why I really felt like this was such an important thing to talk about. And the reason that it came up in my reading and why I wanted to share it with you guys is that I want you to be so rooted in yourself and in your knowing that you're just like, I am freaking unshakable. I cannot be shook by this information, or anything outside of me will not rattle me, because I am only in control of me, and I choose to show up for me. I choose to love me and take amazing, amazing care of me today. And that is such a gift. It is such a gift that we have today, and that we have the option to hang out with ourselves and play with ourselves and prioritize ourselves and be our own best friend. And the fact that you guys are listening to this podcast, like I know that you are my people and that's what you want too. So I think that was a big piece of what I was missing, that I didn't realize how many things that I was doing, and just needing to prioritize a little bit of time for me, even if it was just an extra hour or two in the beginning of my day. And I feel that's a very common female theme. So just wanted to bring that one home, that, you're allowed to get a babysitter to watch your kids and just like go dilly dally. Like also, like you're allowed to just like go get your nails done and take care of you. Like at any time of your life, you are worthy of scheduling alone time, whether it's taking off from work, getting a babysitter, like whatever it is, like you are allowed to do that. I don't know why we put this pressure on ourselves that we have to do all these things. It has to be perfect and we have to show up this way. And if we can't do it this way, then we do it wrong. Like it's really not that black or white. And you are allowed to do whatever you want to do. Like this is your life. You are the director. You are in control, and you're allowed to write out however you want your dream day to go, however you want your life to look. Like you're allowed to create that. And I always want this to be a place where I give you permission to be that version of you. I also wrote down this story about just making space and kind of taking a step back and allowing myself to do some things that bring me a lot of pleasure, like listen to a new podcast or go on a walk. For my 30th birthday, you guys know, entering 30, I was really going hard on play. That was a huge word for me. It was like play, play, play. Austin bought me an art easel, which I am just so obsessed with, because I used to paint all the time as a kid. My mom was an artist too. And that's something that I've been like embodying, is like, I want to paint. I want to just like do things that make me feel in my feminine and really slow down. And this is a perfect example of, this is a story of slowing down that I thought was just so interesting. So I had a friend send me a podcast, and this was I don't know, this was like a year or two ago. And I was in one of my seasons of just being super intentional, and sent me this podcast from a friend. And anytime someone sends me a podcast, I genuinely always try to listen and follow up and just be really intentional with the friendship and the relationship, just let them know like I listened. And so it was when my Apple podcast app like updated, and you guys might see this where it'll say like so and so sent you a podcast like from your text messages. I don't know if you guys have that feature, but it's on mine. And I realized when I was in this like intentional error that I had a podcast that my friend Allie had sent me that I hadn't listened to yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think she sent that to me like a month ago. I need to listen. So I listened to the podcast, and guess who was the guest speaker on the podcast? It was my boy Leo, which I did a podcast episode with Leo all about shadow work. Such an amazing episode. I highly recommend you guys checking it out. And as soon as I heard the podcast, I was just like, oh, I feel so compelled to reaching out to him. I want to work with him. And I ended up doing hypnotherapy with him. And it was like absolutely life-changing work. I love hypnotherapy. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And so like fast forward to, this was like a few months ago. So that happened like a year ago. Allie sent me the episode. I thanked her back then, like when around the time of when, like it was like a month or so of me listening. I thanked her. I was like, thank you for sending that podcast. She sent me a couple. So she was just like, oh, of course. Yeah. Blah. This was probably like 6 months ago. I don't know. I'm always so bad with timelines, but you get it. This was like more recent. I called Allie and I was like, oh my gosh, Allie, I just had Leo on my podcast. Thank you so much for sending me that podcast episode. It was like exactly what I needed to hear. And she was like, wait, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? You sent me this podcast. It said from Allie in my podcast little search tab. And she was like, I don't know who Leo is. I've never listened to a podcast with him. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of was like, oh, that's so weird. I need to go back and look. And then as soon as I got, done talking to her later, I went back and looked and I couldn't find anywhere where it said that she had sent me the post, but I was like, I don't know what happened, but the universe, my angels, whoever's watching over me, someone put that in front of me, and they knew that if it had come from one of my friends, that I always check to, I always want to follow up and be intentional and all the things, and I always want to listen to things my friends send me. But Allie was like, I don't know, like it had just miraculously, mysteriously, wink, wink, not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. Appeared in front of me right when I needed to hear it, showing it was coming from a friend. So I would absolutely click on it. And then leading to me doing this very transformational life work that I absolutely needed in that time, in that moment. And I'm sharing this all with all of you because I do believe that when we are making ourselves a priority, that we're going to start getting messages in the present moment from our loved ones, from our angels, from whatever it is that you believe, from God, from source, from universe. That's when we are able to actually engage with the information that's always trying to connect with us, because we are always, always, always guided. We are always getting information. We are always, like, whenever you ask for something, like, your guides, your angels, they're trying to connect with you. But oftentimes, when we're running around so busy, we don't make time to listen, to connect, to see the signs, to see the little synchronicities, the little winks that, God is trying to send us. And I truly believe that. So that's why I will just like really take that one, pound it, pound it into your brains of just making you a priority and making a little extra time for you to just kind of sit back and allow yourself to receive whatever the world, the universe is trying to send you. Because I truly believe in magic. I will say that all day long. Like, I think this world is so magical. And I just thought that story was just such a funny little wink of her being like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, but what? And then I went back and looked and I'm like, oh, of course. Like, I just needed to hear that. And the universe was like, I know how to get her attention. She'll pay attention when we send her this. So, all that being said, things that you're putting off or delaying when it comes to like, I'll listen to this book or I'll do this course or I'll do these things, you're allowed to do it now. I give you permission to prioritize yourself now, to step away from something that's draining you or just maybe not a priority, whatever. You're allowed to. Like, we're allowed to do whatever we want. Sometimes I feel like we owe people, our time and our energy. And it's like, why? We're so silly. Like, we just get so caught up in putting all this pressure on ourselves when really we could shift that energy into allowing ourselves to receive the magic from the universe, receive abundance, receive new opportunities, put ourselves in these new environments where we could connect with like-minded individuals. But sometimes we just get a little addicted to our current routine. So as much as I've always prioritized, morning routines and things that I was doing in my day-to-day life, that's why I still will schedule these breaks just to kind of step back and look through that lens of observation and be like, okay, hold up. These are the things I'm focusing too much. They're not really moving the needle anymore. Let's recalibrate. I'm going to pick 3 things. I'm going to focus on those 3 things, and I'm going to be consistent as a motherfucker on those 3 things. Okay. So shifting gears quickly, I did want to pull a card for you guys just because I think they're so fun and happy. You guys know our mascot is the dancing unicorns, and that is no coincidence because I've always had my unicorn card. I always just loved unicorns, and I love that ended up being our official mascot. So the card that I picked today, and if you guys want to tune in on YouTube and see a visual because it's such a pretty card, this is the Beloved card, and it's a beautiful little pair of unicorns with butterflies. If butterfly is a sign for anyone right now, this says, prepare for your life partner. Romance is returning to your relationship. Believe you are lovable. Oh, I like that. Okay, let me read you guys the breakdown in my little book. Your heart yearns to be reunited with your beloved and enjoy a blissful, sacred relationship together. Or if you already are in a partnership, you may crave a deepening of romance and connection that may have been lost over time or through challenging circumstances. This loving pair of unicorns wants to reassure you that your joyful reunion or reconnection is coming soon. But there is some preparation to do. To receive your divine partner or reconnect with your current love, you must first love yourself deeply and know that you are lovable. Be honest about how you judge or dishonor yourself, and then be willing to treat yourself with love. Nurture your want to your beloved to hold you in. If you long for a partner who cherishes you, first cherish yourself. If you want to be with someone full of joy, be joyful yourself. If you want to be respected, begin by treating yourself with respect. Making these shifts may mean embarking on a healing journey back into wholeness. Be courageous in releasing the core wounds in your heart that keep you from feeling worthy. Be willing to forgive previous partners and surround your stories of hurt and heartache. Readily transform old beliefs and programming around love, relationships, marriage, and sex. Be gentle with yourself and your partner if you already have one, and know that each old wound or belief you release brings you closer to your beloved or opens your heart to greater love. Allow romance to happen without hurrying it. Connect with your future love or current partner on a soul level and send them energy from your heart. Let them know you are doing the inner work to be ready for them or to deepen your journey together, and share your dreams of the beautiful future you will have together. Oh, that was such a good one. I loved the like, if you're looking for a partner who cherishes you, cherish yourself. If you want someone to be, if you want to be with a joyful partner, like be joyful yourself now. If you want to be respected, begin by treating yourself with respect. Like that is such a good reminder. I think everybody needs to hear that, we want these things so deeply in another person, but it's because our soul is craving it and our soul really wants us to give it to ourselves first. And I recorded a video about this over summer break on TikTok. And the reason I'm like, this is maybe going to just kind of F you up a little bit, slash, really kind of fucked me up a little bit, was I had been really frustrated about something. I went into the Akashic Records. That's the cool thing about the Akashic Records, is always getting this really loving perspective, seeing things through the lens of love, seeing them from a different perspective that's not our own, because sometimes we just get so caught up in our own spirally human mind. And if you feel yourself getting frustrated with your partner or frustrated with, being single right now, whatever it is, if you just feel constant frustration, or this could be frustration with a friend, and you feel yourself always getting frustrated because you're just like, no, you just don't get it. Like, I need you to da 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 da. Like, I want you to ask yourself, like, what is it that you so desperately want your partner to say to you, or your partner to do for you right now? And maybe just think it to yourself, like, what is something I always am like, oh, I just wish she would do this, or I wish he would do this. Here's the kicker. Do you do that for yourself? Do you tell yourself that? Maybe you're just like, I wish he would compliment me, or he would say I love you more, or I wish he would, make an effort, whatever. Do you compliment yourself? Do you tell yourself you love you? Because sometimes our body just really wants to be told we're loved, and our soul doesn't really care who it comes from, but we just automatically assume to put it on our partner, that they need to give us these needs. And it's like, no, no, no. We actually have got to meet the need ourselves, and then we can look to the partner for the need. Because I'm not saying like your partner should tell you they love you, absolutely. But do you ever tell yourself that you love you? Or, like I started really doing that, looking in the mirror when I was putting on my skincare and just being like, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. You did amazing today. You did everything you could possibly do today. I'm just really proud of you. Like, I think that, especially maybe if it's your love language is words of affirmation, we want so much from our partner. And I'm super guilty too. I put a lot on Austin. I'm like, I need you to give me a pep talk, or da, 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 da. I need all these things. And it's like, hold up. Whenever I catch myself doing that, I'm like, wait, I'm going to actually have a little conversation with myself, give that to myself first. And then if I'm still feeling like I need it, then I can look to my partner and let them know, like, hey, this is kind of what I'm needing in this moment. Because I think it's great to express your needs. But if you're constantly in this place of needing some type of validation or compliment or all these things, it's like, do you ever compliment yourself? Because, well, you should, compliments are so just necessary, and we deserve to get them from ourselves, because ultimately, like I said, we are our number one fan, our best friend, all the things. Our greatest support system should always come from within us. That's part of getting that foundation so strong that we are unshakable in the presence or absence of anyone around us. So that was a really, wow, great angel card. And that was like a little perspective from the Akashic Records that I wanted to share too when it comes to love and relationship. Check in with yourself this week. If you find yourself in an argument or a point of frustration, and be like, hold up, am I giving myself this need? Am I meeting my own needs first? Because that's our number one piece that a lot of times we just forget or we overlook. And our partner is not here to meet every single one of our needs. It's got to be a little bit of like a 50-50 balance. So love to sprinkle in some Akashic wisdom. And I want to go ahead and let you guys know that we're going to be doing some really, really powerful work in the next episode, all around food and body image and food freedom. And I really, really, really feel like this message is applicable to anyone, whether you have struggled with food in the past or not. I think it's just really powerful information on self-love and feeling super connected to our body. That's the theme of kind of like this early fall curriculum, is feeling good. So all of you guys deserve to feel good. I want to do everything in my power to make you feel good. I hope that you feel my energy and my love through this microphone, through this screen, wherever you're catching me, in your ear holes. I'm so happy I'm there. And yeah, so make sure you keep coming to class. You got to take notes and send this class to a friend who's missed it. If anyone needs to hear it, please forward. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you so much. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter for more information on readings. And you can submit a question for a free live reading on AG University podcast. I think that's everything, you guys. Welcome back. We are about to hit this year hard, and we're going to take life by the horns, and we're going to feel good together. And this is your professor speaking. Thanks for coming to class. You all get an A+. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mwah. Bye. As always, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you feel so called, or if it feels aligned, I would love for you to leave me a review here. I always love reading your beautiful thoughts and messages. And also you can find me at Anna Grace Newell on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I will link all of my courses, AG University course curriculum, in the show notes, along with, if you're interested in booking an Akashic Records reading with me, my scheduling link goes out in my newsletter. It goes out once a month and it's completely free. I would love to have you there. As always, I'm a proud professor, and you get an A+ for making it all the way through the end. Love you.